Hello, 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 LP fam. Coach Adam here. Can't believe we're already checking in for quarter two summer shred. The new phase is about to begin. Congrats on an amazing start to the year with our strength training block. And also, congrats on just finishing up your benchmark testing. Great way to start the year, 12 weeks in and ready to roll into summer shred and shift our focus. So today we're going to talk about our fourth phase yearly plan as a reminder on why we do what we do, talk a little bit about our benchmark results and our testing. We'll also talk about the summer shred training plan and the focus for that plan. And then we'll talk about the transformation challenge, which is happening throughout the next training block, our focus of body composition and nutrition, exciting time of year, and all the amazing events that we have going on during this phase. We'll also talk about the HYROX season and the training plan and the races we have set up for you guys so you can stay fired up and ready for crushing your goals. And last but not least, we'll talk about the newest addition to our LP health team, which is fascial stretch therapy. So let's dig into it. First of all, recap on the four phases and why we do them. So our four phases for our new members or even our longtime members is the one we just completed, which is our strength training block, our phase that's coming up, which is our hypertrophy training block, our athlete conditioning training block, and our foundation training block. So if you look at the bottom there, strength, conditioning, stamina, power, mobility, and body composition are the key components of optimal health and longevity. And in these four phases, we touch on all of those key components. Some of the phases emphasizing more on the strength, some of them emphasize more on the stamina, some of them emphasize more on power. So strength phase, obviously, huge emphasis on building that strength, which is important longevity factor, staying strong and healthy. All phases kind of including that conditioning component. Hypertrophy phase really focused on the body composition component, trying to build lean body mass, increase your base metabolic rate. Athlete conditioning really focused on conditioning and power development, keeping us explosive and strong to handle whatever life throws at us. We love our weekend warrior sports and challenges. So athlete conditioning is great for that. And then, of course, our foundation phase, which has a huge focus on mobility, strength, building our base of conditioning. And then stamina. Stamina, we did a lot of in this first strength phase. We also will be doing tons of it in our hypertrophy phase. So excited to dig into all of that. And then benchmark testing. So awesome job to those who did complete benchmark testing this past week. Benchmark testing is often a scary time of year for most people. So shout out to you if you got your test done. For new members, it can be an exciting time because you see progress each and every time you test. But for more long-time members, sometimes it can be scary to try to even meet the expectations of where you were previously at. And I know just even like 1% marginal improvements can be super challenging and tough. So I think we have to reframe it and look at it in a different way where, you know, all of the data tells us that we are going to get weaker. We're going to get slower. We're going to become less conditioned. We're going to decrease muscle mass, all of these things. So even just to maintain our strength, to maintain our conditioning, to maintain our body composition is a huge win and a huge reason to celebrate. So benchmark testing isn't always about setting personal bests and improving. sometimes for our long-term members, it's just about maintaining where we were at. The other important part of it is for the upcoming phase, it's great to know where your benchmarks are at so you know where to start at. Oftentimes, injuries happen because we think we're at a certain level and we're really not. So it's nice to reset those 1 rep max numbers. It's also nice to reset that VO2 max, our paces on our rowing, our paces on the bike, our paces on running, so that we don't overtrain and we don't set ourselves up for failure. So, reminder, we only do benchmark testing twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And whether you've had an amazing training block or a not so amazing training block, it is a great time of year to just reset those benchmarks and move forward and set your goals in focus. And that's where the Fit Life scorecard comes in. So we're super excited to see over 70 members that enter data into that Fit Life scorecard. We're going to, our LP database, we're going to build out your Fit Life scorecards. It's going to tell you for each and every metric: strength, conditioning, stamina, mobility, power, body composition, all of those metrics, whether you're in that optimal range or whether it's something that could really use your attention and focus. So excited to get those out to you. The other thing we're really excited about is to summarize all of the data that we now have and use it moving forward. So if we see any areas of focus across the entire gym that need some attention, we can start to use that data to help us with our programming and our focus. The other cool thing will be to get some averages across your age group and your gender so that we can tell you, okay, here's what norms we're seeing in your age group and for your gender, and maybe some cool targets that you can work towards. So excited to get those Fit Life scorecards built and come up with some really cool summaries of all of the data to help you understand where the average LP athlete's at and what you can strive towards. So congrats on an awesome first phase of 2025, and of course completing your benchmark testing. Now let's roll into our Summer Shred training block. So Summer Shred is going to start April 7th and it's going to run until June 27th. Next week, being Blitz week, is going to be a little primer week to get us ready for the intensity and the shift in focus of Summer Shred. So use next week to get your body tuned up and ready. And then we'll be rolling full speed ahead on April 7th. Mini cycle 1 will be 6 weeks long from April 7th to May 16th, which is May 2-4 weekend. And then we'll have a little Blitz deload, change of focus, change of pace week on May 19th to May 25th, which the long weekend ties into that week. So it's a short week anyways. And then mini cycle 2 will begin May 26th and it'll go all the way to the end of June, which is 5 more weeks. We'll take one deload or Blitz week, June 30th to July 6th over Canada Day. And then we'll start athlete conditioning. So that's how the training block's going to look in a high level. Training focus. So training focus of Summer Shred, for those of you who don't know, is a huge hypertrophy focus, trying to build that lean muscle mass, trying to build that lean body mass, trying to improve your body composition, trying to increase your base metabolic rate. So many benefits to hypertrophy training, and excited to dig into that. We'll also have a huge focus on VO2 max in this phase. So strength and hypertrophy for the Summer Shred training block, lighter weights and higher reps. Because it's light, we can really emphasize that full range of motion through all movements. Full range of motion is so important because it helps us develop strength and muscle throughout that entire range and around the entire joint. So obviously we have to be smart, listen to our bodies, but I want to see you trying to move through that full range of motion, whether it's a squat or a bench press or even a bicep curl. Don't cut the range short just because the weight gets challenging. I want you to really focus on moving through that full range. We're going to be targeting some smaller muscle groups, which is really going to help us isolate movements, which is great for injury prevention. Oftentimes, all the little stabilizers and small muscles around our shoulder can use some extra focus. Our biceps and triceps and forearms can use some extra focus to help protect our wrists and help protect our elbows. And then, of course, our quads and our hamstrings, really isolating those can help us protect our knees and our hips. So we're going to really start to do a lot more isolation work. And then really, really important for this phase, doing things on purpose with a purpose. So with those high reps, you can oftentimes just kind of go through the motions, but you really need to focus on contracting those muscle groups and really going through that full range of motion and really trying to make the most out of every repetition. Injury prevention goes back to that small muscle group isolation and going through those full ranges of motion. So some of the key terms you're going to see are pre-fatigue, heavy mechanical loading. Those are going to be our compound lifts, finishers, metabolic stress, and concentration. So look for all those on our strength days. They're all going to have a little different focus and have a little different purpose. So excited for that. VO2 max. This is going to be our Tuesday and Thursday conditioning focus. On Tuesdays, we're going to have lots of high intensity intervals. We're also going to have lots of muscular endurance. On Thursdays, we're going to have lots of long aerobic pieces. Excited to get outside for some of those as the weather shifts. And the combination of the high intensity, the muscular endurance, and the long aerobic is going to help us increase our VO2 max, which along with strength is arguably the number one indicator of lifespan, quality of life, long-term health, all of that. So we oftentimes like to focus our energy on our strength work, but VO2 max is just as important. So we really want to focus, obviously this is age and gender dependent, but in general, a VO2 max over 50 is excellent. Above average is 45 to 50. Average is 40 to 45. Below average, 35 to 40. Needs improvement under 35. So just like strength, just like muscle mass, over time, our VO2 max decreases. So if we have a VO2 max right now of 35 and we're only in our 40s, by the time we get to our 60s and 70s, that's going to be down into the 20s. So something to really try to get up as high as we can, just like our strength and our muscle mass now, so that long term, as our VO2 max does stay or decline, we can still keep it in that solid range. So some of the key ways we test that, as you saw in benchmark week, are 2K row, our 1.5-mile run, and our beep test. And then, of course, just using our heart rate on a daily basis with our MyZone band to track where your heart rate's at, what paces you're holding, and how you're recovering from all of that work. And then the last thing, which is going to tie into both strength and hypertrophy and VO2 max, is body composition. So this phase is focused a lot on that. We're really trying to increase our lean body mass with the hypertrophy training. Getting our lean body mass up is going to help us increase our base metabolic rate, which is going to help us burn more calories at rest. Oftentimes we say our metabolism decreases as we age. That's typically because our muscle mass decreases as we age. So we want to try to keep that as high as we can by improving and working on our lean body mass. Optimal lean body mass, as you'll see from our benchmark testing on our Fit Life scorecard, for women is 70 to 85%, for men is 75 to 90%. Lean body mass is a combination of your weight, your muscle mass, and your body fat. So we'll help you calculate that in your Fit Life scorecard. The other thing is the higher your VO2 max is, the more energy and the more efficiently you can burn calories. So another motivating factor to keep working on that VO2 max. It's going to help with your body composition. It's going to help with your base metabolic rate. It's going to help with how efficiently your body works. So the combination of strength, high intensity intervals, and that zone 2 aerobic work is going to be super important to your body comp. Nutrition is going to be a huge focus in this phase. So we're going to dial that nutrition in. really get those macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fats dialed in so that we can achieve our body comp goals. And then, as always, sleep and recovery is a key and crucial component, very challenging for people with busy lives with their careers and families, but something that we try to do our best at. And then we're going to be doing some body composition analysis on our in-body scale. So get comfortable over this phase, tracking that on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, just to see where you're at, see how you're progressing and making changes if needed. And then the body transformation challenge is going to be a huge part of this phase. So excited for all of that. That was a deep dive into the focus for the phase. Week 1, sneak peek. The workouts are up, so you can have a look at them on WADUP. Just a reminder, hypertrophy, the primary goal of hypertrophy is to stimulate muscle growth, leading to an increase in muscle size and strength. Hypertrophy is best achieved 8 to 20 reps, so high reps at a lighter weight, but we need to use a heavy enough weight that when we get to 10, 11, 12, 15 reps, that we're not just stopping there because we feel like stopping there. We're stopping there because we literally can't do 1, 2, 3 more reps. So we got to get close to failure to really get the benefits of that work. So you can see on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to be doing some pre-fatigue work, which is going to help get a little pump on, get the blood flowing, activate, and get the muscles working that we're going to be working on in our heavy mechanical loading, which is our big lifts. That's the second part of each of the strength workouts. Then we'll go into our metabolic stress. So when your legs are fatigued, we will punish them with some more isolated work, like on Monday with those Bulgarian split squats, like on Wednesday with those bent over rows and pullovers, and like on Fridays with those step ups to get your legs going after deadlifts. And then we'll always do a little finisher, either some core work or a little pump sesh. So excited for those coming up. And then on the conditioning days, here's what you can expect. So on Tuesdays, you're going to be doing some VO2 max intervals and some muscular endurance. And on Thursdays, you're going to be doing some long aerobic conditioning work. So a reminder, a higher VO2 max can lead to better cardiovascular health, improved metabolism, and a reduced risk of developing chronic diseases. To improve your VO2 max, complete regular exercise and high intensity interval training. Complete regular aerobic exercise and high intensity interval training. So the combination of aerobic exercise and high intensity exercise is how you improve your VO2 max. And as you can see, having a better VO2 max improves your cardiovascular health, which is how well your heart and lungs work. It improves your metabolism, which means that your body is working more efficiently. And of course, the most important thing is it helps reduce the risk of chronic diseases as we get older. So excited for some fun but tough conditioning work over the next few months, and excited to get outside for some of these, especially these aerobic Thursday workouts. Can't wait for that. Challenges and events. So the body transformation, which was an incredible challenge last year. We had some amazing results. Don't worry, we'll have some awesome prizes to celebrate all your hard work. We're going to start that challenge on April 28th. So you have a little bit of time to prepare for that. Stay tuned for sign-up details and preparation for that challenge. We'll get you to do about a week of prep leading into it. And then the challenge will officially start after Easter weekend. Like last year, there'll be 2 options for this challenge. The Ignite option, which is included in your membership, includes body composition analysis throughout the challenge, macro calculator, which is going to help you build out your perfect macros, proteins, carbs, and fats based on your body comp analysis. And you will also get access to meal plans, recipe guides, and a grocery shopping list to go with those. The meal plans will be specific to your body comp results and your goals. Then the Transform Challenge, which is our one-on-one nutrition coaching. That will be an upgraded option for the challenge. Last year, we had 20 members that absolutely crushed the challenge with this extra one-on-one coaching. So with that, you'll get weekly accountability calls with your nutrition coach. You will also get a custom meal plan built just for you. And you will get 15% off all ATP products. So two amazing options for that 9-week challenge. We'll have some awesome prizes for all of your hard work as well. So excited for that. Events for the next quarter, family events and celebrations. Easter Bunny Training Camp on Good Friday is our first event of the phase. Mother's Day and Father's Day celebrations. Our corporate sponsors are excited to spoil our moms and dads on Mother's Day and Father's Day. We have our HYROX PFT. Earn that PFT badge. Try to get that gold level badge if you can crush the PFT. That's on April 27th. MS Awareness Month. Last year, we kicked this off in May, and the goal is to try to get 50 kilometers over the month of May. And then last but not least, our Shannon Block Memorial fundraiser in honor of Shannon is going to be a car wash again this year. We're excited to hype this up and raise a ton of money for Shannon's fund. So we have some great events coming up, as well as our body composition challenge. Almost there. Our HYROX training plan. We're going to go through a 3-phase training plan: base season, build season, race season. So base season, off season's over. We're into the spring. We had a great winter of training, maintaining our fitness, but it's time to kick it up a notch. We're going to head into base season, which is going to be focused on building our aerobic base and building our running base and refining our HYROX skills and techniques. So we're going to go back to the basics on some of those HYROX skills so we can master them and crush the stations. We're going to go back to building our base of running. Hopefully you've done the return to run plan and you're ready. We're going to build up over base season up to 45 to 60 minutes of running, which will be needed in our HYROX racing. And then we're going to really focus on continuing to build your strength and all around fitness. At the end of this phase, which is going to run till the end of April, we're going to test your current fitness level with our HYROX PFT. It's a great baseline test to see where you're at, and then build off of that going into build season. So remember, the PFT is a super tough test, 1,000-meter run into some a lot of burpees, into some lunges, into some rowing, into some push-ups, and then finishing with 100 wall balls. So based on the results from the PFT, it will slot you into different divisions. And based on those divisions, it will recommend what HYROX race and division you should do. So a great test. Also excited at that PFT event. We're going to have expert speakers coming in to talk about running training, building your perfect HYROX training plan, building a race pace strategy and how to crush your race goals and how to pace this long monster of a race. And then we'll also have a chiro there who will be talking about injury prevention and how to keep your body healthy and strong. And last but not least, we'll have a HYROX head judge there who who will be talking about movement standards and how to avoid penalties. You'll be able to ask any and all those people questions on their specific area. So excited for that event coming up on April 27th. Get signed up. Build season. Once we build our base of running, we'll get into some specific run workout focus. We'll do some VO2 max work. We'll do some threshold work, which is known as race pace work. And we'll do some form running with some strides and some hill work and more mechanics focused running. We'll also go into maintaining our strength and all around fitness instead of building. And then we'll start to really dial in our HYROX stamina. So increasing the volume of those HYROX specific movements. And then at the end of that phase, which is July 19th, we're going to be completing our HYROX. So we're excited for that event. This year, we're going to have an open and a pro division. So excited to see how you stack up against the fellow local athletes. We have over 80 athletes already signed up from Toronto and the local area. So we're excited to see how the LP crew does against everyone in the region. And then after that, we'll really start to dial in our race season with lots of race specific run work, lots of race specific strength and power work in our athlete conditioning training block. And then of course, lots of race specific station work. And then about a month out from HYROX Toronto, we will do a full sim HYROX. So depending if you're doing doubles or pro or open, we'll do a simulation of that race. And once we know the date, we'll pick a date for that sim. And then last year, we kind of put all our energy and focus into HYROX Toronto, but this year we want to map out a few other target races. We found it a little bit tough to keep, especially the run training going into our Vegas race this year. So we thought it'd be great to try to get 2 races kind of back to back in the fall, depending on when Toronto is, September, October. And then we know Chicago and Dallas are in that October, November timeline, or even Anaheim, which is in December. We'd love to get another one in before the winter really comes to Canada. And then in the spring again, it would be great to get signed up for Washington, D.C. or Miami or New York. So excited to plan all that out with you guys as the season approaches. So waiting for more details on the official Toronto date, but I'm sure we can expect that soon. And then last but not least, we're excited to have a new fascial stretch therapist on board. Stretch Health is no longer with us, but Coach Ree, who has been doing fascial stretch therapy for years now, is finally excited to be able to help our members with their fascial stretch therapy goals. So we're going to be including her information in the Jane app, and you'll be able to book in with her. She's going to have some Monday and some Friday availability. So we'll get that out to you as soon as possible so you can start pre-booking in those fascial stretch appointments. And we're excited to, of course, continue with our amazing LP health team with Kathleen, Dr. Jen, and Dr. Kyle. All of them helping us with our different aches and pains and goals, and keeping us healthy and strong so we can keep crushing it. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me about programming or goal setting or training. I'm always here to help with that and love to help with that. If you have any questions about payment, billing, account changes, products, supplements, reach out to Kathy at members@lpfit.ca. And if you have any questions about new member onboarding or maybe a referral that you have, someone who wants to try a free class or do the 21-day Kickstart program, reach out to Brandon. His email is brandon@lpfit.ca. And of course, Michelle is always here to help with your nutrition goals and any other goal setting that you might want to do around that. So keep up the hard work, friends. Super excited for this new phase to kick off. And let's have an amazing 3 months of summer shred. Congrats, crew. Keep up the hard work.